Head, neck and trunk straight and aligned. Feet firmly planted on the ground. Hands resting gently on your thighs. Eyes softly closed. Withdraw your mind from all other times and places and bring it to the now and here. Relaxing each and every muscle bundle throughout your body, systematically starting from your forehead. Alert, relax. Using your breath, inhaling, you scan, you relax. Maintain your breath awareness. Navel to nostrils as you exhale. Nostrils to navel as you inhale. Free flowing breath. Do not engage with any thoughts. Let them come and go. Taking a gentle breath in, we will chant Om together 3 times. Om. Om. Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasamastu Ma vidvisha vahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste and welcome. Welcome everyone to the class today. I hope you all have done a little bit of introspection on the question. And I was hoping that Prema is here, but is she here or not? Is Prema there? Can Prema please answer this question? The question on Krupana, because she had told us, she had queried, she knows what is the meaning of the word, literal meaning. See your face.
Yeah. Actually, we all work for our early pleasures. We don't want to seek the ultimate God's presence or His through this thing. So in that we are miser in our approach, because it's vast. He has so much to give to us, and we don't seek all those things. So with that,
So you
and
think
really
that
we are unfortunate to be that we are kripanas.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, Krupana, because we spend our potential with abundance. Am I audible?
No.
Oh,
No, ma'am. No, it's breaking. Voice is breaking.
Emma, you mute yourself.
please, you
It's
mute.
okay.
Adjust your camera.
Okay.
Right. All right.
Hmm.
You mute yourself, Prema, please.
Unmute. Mute.
Okay. So I was that the reason why it is called Krupana, the person who does not tap his potential. He has got a miserly, narrow mind, who has focused on the external and has not explored his abundance that lies within him. And then once he starts to explore, he automatically starts to share it. That is what happens to the being who is self-realized. He cannot but share his knowledge because he feels, how is it that they are still suffering? He wants to elevate the suffering of others. Therefore, the attitude of Krupana is what Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, that you don't be that. Don't be a Krupana. Explore your inner potential. And I don't know if you know this story. Did I tell you the story last time about King Janaka and Yajnavalkya? No? I told you. So therefore, remember this, that Yajnavalkya has defined the Krupana as such, as the one who has not tapped into his essential being. Now, see what we are doing so that we restrict our time spent on the homework. I am requesting Rama to keep on writing ideal answers, and she will then also post them on the WhatsApp group so that you can get a complete idea of what this word actually signifies. So go ahead, Rama, and give us the notes of what a Krupana is. Let's not talk about the story because we have already said the story. So just unmute Rama.
Yeah, Hari Om. The word Kripana has been used once by Arjuna in Shloka 7 when he describes himself as one, and in Shloka 49 in Discourse 2 by Sri Krishna as to who Kripana is. The literal meaning of the Kripana is miser, stingy. The one who performs actions with a selfish motive, that is for his own and his dear and near ones' enjoyment, is a Kripana. For a Kripana, his actions are always motivated by I, me, myself, and mine. Therefore, he is attached to the fruit of his actions. His intellect cannot know right from wrong, since he is always grief-stricken, timid, and lacks courage. In Shloka 49, Discourse 2, Shri Krishna says, Dure Navaram. That is the most inferior attitude because it takes one too far from the supreme goal, which is self-realization. The Srimad Bhagavatam shloka describes a kripana, na veda kripanaha shreya atmano gunavastudrik, tasya ta nichito yacchedyadi sopi tatha vidaha. Kripana are those who think that the ultimate reality consists only of sense objects produced from the material energy. Again, the Srimad Bhagavatam states, Daridro yastra santushtaha kripano yo jitendriyaha. Kripana is one who has no control over the senses. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in reply to sage Gargi as to who a Kripana is, Maharishi Yagnavalkya answers, Kripana is one who leaves this world without knowing the indestructible, infallible reality. It is only in human life can one do sadhana and attain moksha. Anyone who does not utilize it for the ultimate goal of life is a Kripana. Thank you.
Right. Very good. Excellent. So beautifully summarized. And now we know who is a Kripana. And fortunately, I don't think any of us can be classified as Kripana. So pat yourself on the back because you are trying to realize the self. You are trying to find out. Remember also that this Karma Yoga class that we are doing, it is all right that we are studying only the Karma Yoga part of the Bhagavad Gita. But what are we going to do Karma Yoga for? That is a very, very important topic. Topic meaning goal. So always remind yourself that I am studying Karma Yoga so that it is one pathway towards my goal. And my goal is to know the self. Simply that. So far, what have we done? We have studied how to study Bhagavad Gita. We have studied what our ultimate goal is. We have seen how demoralized Arjuna was. We have seen how Krishna responds to him. He has to first give him the knowledge that the jnana that he is not this body and mind. Even while you are going to practice Karma Yoga, it is going to be extremely important for you to understand that if I am this body and mind, I will not be able to practice Karma Yoga. It is not so easy as it seems. So we discussed the myths of the Karma Yoga as well. And then we discussed that, the reason why Sri Krishna takes him through, chapter 2 is almost a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. And what does he tell Arjuna? He gives him the jnana that you are not this body and mind. And then he is giving him the practice of how to understand it. And finally, he explains how the one who is self-realized can be recognized. And that is the ultimate aim of all of us. That is what Arjuna is being taught. Now, why does Sri Krishna have to do this? Because, Sri Krishna, with the power that he had, he could have just patted Arjuna on the back and he would be standing up and ready to fight. But he didn't do that. Why did he not do that? Because he wants Arjuna to be self-realized. He wants that he uses this greatest of all calamities and situations which was presented before him in his life. And so remember, this is something that we should all remind ourselves, that in case we have a huge obstruction or difficulty in life, we make use of it. You lever it to enter yourself. That is what Sri Krishna wanted Arjuna to do. And that is why he is taking him through all this knowledge. And this knowledge and intellect has to be used for you to actually practice Karma Yoga. So the first question we discussed was, what befuddles the mind? And we understood that it is the attachment. Why is there attachment? there is attachment because we identify with the body and mind. We discussed what is the difference between attachment and what is what is love, what is giving, and not just thinking of what's there in it for me. So that is what attachment is, and today we have discussed Krupana. Now, before I leave chapter 2, I cannot resist but remind ourselves of these two very important verses, which I think are a key to understanding our behavior, so that we should be watchful. Is that what's happening to me? And also to transform ourselves and our focus on to what the key should be. So, Dhyato Vishayan Pumsa, Shloka 62 and 63, chapter 2, in case you would like to also read it. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteषूपजायते Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Bhijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smruti Vibhramaha Smruti Bhramshat Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. So the man dwelling on sense objects develops attachment for them. From attachment springs up desire. From desire unfulfilled ensues anger. From anger arises delusion. From delusion, confusion of memory, loss of reason, and from loss of reason, one goes to complete ruin. This is the meaning of these two verses, and it is so beautifully explained by Sri Krishna, the cascade of events that happens when one is at, when one dwells on sense objects, automatically one desires them. If the desire gets fulfilled, you don't get angry, but you are satisfied for a very short time. So then another desire arises, and so on and so forth. So the belly of the person is never filled. So, and if suppose the desire is not fulfilled, then you go into a cascade of events of anger, and from anger, fear, delusion, and loss of memory. You see, you tend to even forget what the what the basis. Sometimes one forgets what the person has said even, and we get angry with the person, and we are so deluded that the relationship can get destroyed. So we have to be careful about what we are getting, what is where our desire is arising from, and why is it getting leading to anger, and so on and so forth. There is one little secret, and that is that, you see, if we feel that we can do something about it, then anger will arise. But if we feel helpless that we can do nothing about that, then fear will arise. So in both the situations, what should have been our original attitude is not to dwell on the sense objects, not to dwell on them. See, the sense objects will present themselves to you, but it's the dwelling, dhyaya, that is meditation, that in dhyana, it comes from the intellect. Once it gets attracted and pulled by the sense objects, then it's very difficult to prevent it from going into this cascade of events. So what we need to do is change the focus, dhyaya, from that of sense objects to Sri Krishna, or to your Ishta Daivat, or to your goal. When you will do that, what will happen is that you will desire that much more than anything else. And oddly enough, it will not lead to anger, it will lead to more adventure on the spiritual aspect of life. And there is one very beautiful doha, which I like to read every time, and I'll read it again here now. So he says, there is So just start training the mind to dwell on him alone. So Rais Khan of Vrindavan has said, Prem gali badi sankari, wahan rahe na doye. Agar main hu to tu nahi, tu hai to main nahi. This is the stage we want to reach. And therefore, meditate constantly. Is this taking me towards my ultimate goal? We have, you see, I'm writing a little book on ancient wisdom for modern times. That is the title given by Swami Ram to me. And in that this is what I'm talking about, that you have an aim and you have an objective. What is the aim? The aim is the ultimate goal. And the objective is how to get there. And that objective should be that in this life also, we want to go happily. We should pass this life, whether enlightened or unenlightened, in a happy state of mind. So it's not only about the ultimate goal, because that ultimately lies in the hands of the Lord, whether you are going to get there or not. So we will now move on to chapter number 3. And in that, and I want to say that even in chapter 3, we will be doing selected shlokas. See, we are already in class 3. And we have only 12 classes. We have to go through in detail chapter 3 and chapter 4. So what we are going to do now is to start with chapter 3, which is titled Karma Yoga. So we must understand that Sri Krishna gave Arjuna Jnana first. That is the marga known as the Nivrutti marga. That means no action involved. And but he just gave him the knowledge. He doesn't endorse that he should take that path. He is endorsing the path of action, that is Karma Yoga, throughout, or the Pravrutti Marg, throughout the Bhagavad Gita. When, even though he is giving Jnana throughout, he he insists that Arjuna take the path of action. And it is so true and so necessary that we follow the same, because not all of us can become monks. So with that, I would like to just introduce chapter 3, that it is this path of Karma Yoga is what is being now expounded in greater detail. Because although by the end of chapter 2, Arjuna is quite out of the grip of that despondency that had caught hold of him. So understood that, oh yes, he had, this knowledge of birth and rebirth and the soul not dying and body dying and all of that. He was just reminded by Sri Krishna, although the intensity, the depth, the total understanding was not there before Sri Krishna expounded Jnana Marga, but at least he knew that, yes, I am not only this body, or I am not this body at all. So he felt that now he got, at the end of chapter 2, Sri Krishna has expounded Jnana Marga so much that he thought, why is Sri Krishna now telling me that I should go into this gory war? Let me just go into the Himalayas and focus on the fact that I am the soul, pure and peaceful, like the Brahma Kumaris say, and realize that. So he will be asking this question, and he's a good student. Therefore, he does not just take everything for granted. Sri Krishna told him that now you should do karma, so he has to do it. So he is going to ask Sri Krishna, how is it, why it is that he is goading him to go into the battlefield. Now, you see, because Sri Krishna is also his friend. Now, see, there are three types of friends. They are called Mitra, Bandhu, and Sakha. So the Mitra is the one you know fairly well. You are at your workplace and you say hi and how are you doing and so on. The Bandhu is the one whom you share a lot of your life and camaraderie you have with him. But the Sakha is the one who, before you tell him, knows what's going on in your heart. So Sri Krishna is the Sakha of Arjuna, and therefore he feels very easy to ask him. However respectfully he always asks, he is able to ask Sri Krishna, and we should be making Sri Krishna our Sakha, and we should experience he is there all the time. So now Sri Krishna is going to explain to Arjuna how not only himself, not only Janaka and the others whom he has already given the example of, but he himself is doing so much action, but they are not touched by the results of those actions. So we'll start with shloka number 1. Arjuna says, Jayaso chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. So Arjuna says, Krishna, if you consider knowledge as superior to action, why then do you urge me to this dreadful action, O Keshava? So Jayasi means that the better than karma is jnana. So better than. So if karma, jnana is better, then again he feels confused as to which marga he should take for certain. And this is due to the fact that he actually already, to start with, he wanted to escape the war and killing so many people. So even though Arjuna was explained in the second chapter that the self is not subject to any change, is beyond being killed and so on and so forth, he was still a bit confused, because you see, what happens is that even wise people get confused when they are identified with the body. So if we are all considered wise because we are all not Krupanas, we are trying to understand. Arjuna was in the same situation. He was also trying to understand. But he has not, he has been given the theory. He has not atmasat nahi hua hai. That means it has not become ingrained in him, this truth of the fact that I am not this body. And therefore, whereas the man who is already enlightened, he is forever non-attached, like Janaka and Sri Krishna. For them, they are totally non-attached forever, and therefore no karma can ever accrue to them. But this Arjuna is not so. So therefore, what we need to understand is that his question to Sri Krishna is natural. And what does Swami Ram explain to us on this? He says that any action, before it is performed, is kind of rehearsed in the mind first. And it is there that the Jnana Marga is important, and in the action, the Karma Marga is important. So, why has Sri Krishna already explained all about the self? Because when that action is being rehearsed in the mind prior to being actually enacted, Arjuna will be reminded that this body and mind is acting, going to act, and that I am not this body and mind. So every time we have to give ourselves a reminder. So the mastery of the inner action is called Jnana Yoga, and the mastery, this is what Swami Ram says, of the outer action should be considered as Karma Yoga. Now we go on to shloka number 3. We'll skip number 2 because it's more or less he is asking, Arjuna says that now then in that case, tell me definitely what should I do? Should I do karma or shouldn't I do karma? So that is the second verse which we will skip. So shloka number 3. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokosmin Vividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So he says that these people, it depends on the aptitude. The exact meaning is, Arjuna, in this world, 2 courses of action or sadhana have been enunciated by me in the past. Maya, Anagha, the sinless one. So in case of Sankhya Yogi, the sadhana proceeds along the path of knowledge, whereas in case of the Karma Yogi, it proceeds along the path of action. So the result of both is the same, and the goal of both is the same, but it depends on the aptitude of the person. That means a person who is Rajasic, who is given to action, just like our Arjuna is, then he should take to Karma Yoga. He is not expected to just renounce everything and go to the Himalayas. Do you think he could have ever sat and meditated for 24/7 to know who he is? That would have been quite impossible for a person who is in the constant state of motion and dynamic person like Arjuna. So Karma Yoga was the right, and for people like us who are not only Rajasic in temperament, but who are forced to be so. We have taken the grahasthashram, we have taken to the worldly activities, in which case, how is it possible for us to renounce and go into a secluded place to do the kind of meditation and to be totally focused on it? So the word nishtha means a firm conviction, and that depends on one's temperament, and therefore you should take to the pravrutti marg. So how is the pravrutti marg to be practiced? With non-attachment or vairagya, and for the benefit of all, in which case no karma will accrue to you. This is what Sri Krishna will be further explaining. And in case you take to the Jnana Marga, and you are constantly reminded and remembering the things of the world, then you are becoming a hypocrite. So this is what is said in the next mantra, which we shall now read. And it is, what is it that is actually doing the action? All the various. See, let me just brief you on what Sattva, Raja and Tama are, because those are the gunas. You see, Maya, which is the creative power of Sri Krishna in the meaning Ishvara, that creative power creates a fabric of this universe. What are the 3 strands for making this tapestry? Sattva, Raja and Tama. These are the 3 stands. And what does Sattva stand for? Clarity of mind and focus. What is Raja? Dynamism, and mostly the dynamism, the action, the power to do something is usually directed towards sense objects. And what is Tamas? Is indolence, lethargy and ignorance. So that dynamic action, that Rajasic guna, can either be turned towards Sattva or towards Tamas. That means, a person who is in search for happiness, and he doesn't find it in the world, but he is so full of tamoguna that he goes into alcohol and drugs, because he is in search of happiness. And therefore, when he is acting in that manner, that rajas has to come in. So the rajas can be directed upwards or downwards. And therefore, we are subject to the permutations and combinations and the proportion of these gunas within our body and mind, with these conditionings, which actually limit our action. Therefore, we need to have jnana about this so that we can extricate ourselves from the grip of these gunas, which Sri Krishna will further tell us to do. And he has told Arjuna, Trigunatita Bhavarjuna. So anyway, let's go on now to shloka number 5, which says, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit karyate yavashaha karma sarva prakrutir jair gunai. So surely none can ever remain inactive, even for a moment. For everyone is helplessly driven to action by modes of Prakriti, that is born of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So in order to further clarify these difficulties of the Jnana Yoga, Sri Krishna now explicitly shows Arjuna that no one is bereft of action. Even the one who is practicing stillness is still breathing, sleeping, eating, sitting, is he not? So, for such is the law of nature. So, by giving up action that you have been trained to do, you will not be absolved of action per se. It is better, therefore, to do action which you can perform skillfully with non-attachment and selflessly. So what is it that actually makes us go under the illusion that I am the doer is this ego? And actually, to tell you the truth, the ego is an afterthought. The action happens and then we say, I did it. The action happens according to your gunas, according to your samskaras. This is a huge topic which we will not go into, but later I will explain to you about, maybe towards the end, we will take special classes on on gunas and on free will. So these are the two topics that we may cover towards the end. If we have gone through the shlokas that are relevant to our study of Karma Yoga. So these gunas is what is acting, and our conditioning, our situation, our desires, these are motivating our actions. And that action, really speaking, happens, but the ego appropriates it to himself and goes on accumulating various memories which give him a sense of security. His relationships and his memories give him a sense of security, and that's why he becomes what is the karta. If he is a karta, then he is sure to be a bhokta. That is the experiencer of whatever he has done. Now we go to shloka number 6. Karmendriyani sanyamya yah aste manasa smaran indriyarthani vimodhatma mithyacharah sa uchyate. So he who outwardly restraining the organs of sense and action sits mentally dwelling on the objects of senses, that man is deluding himself, his intellect, and is called a hypocrite. So Swami Ram explains that outward renunciation of family, possessions, creature comforts is not enough. You know, a lot of people, they run away from their daily life because they are too stressed. They can't manage the family, they don't have enough funds, or they are distressed with their mothers-in-law or whatever, and they are found somewhere in the Himalayas sitting and apparently meditating. But they are not. they are totally hypocrites who have taken the Veshabhusha of a sadhu, but have not done any kind of internal renunciation. And that can be done even in the midst of wherever you are. That is the idea of the Karma Yoga. So during the time of Buddha, there were so many bhikshus and all well able-bodied people. And they found it so easy not to be doing anything. And there were too many grahasthas very few grahasthas in fact left, who had to support these people. So it cannot be a topsy-turvy world like that. So we have to concentrate on wherever life has placed us according to our prarabdha, and then make the best use of it. And most are these are hypocrites. So they are inwardly thinking of the luxuries of life. And at the same time, my own take on this is that you don't have to renounce the world and go and sit in the Himalayas. But off and on, if you renounce something you like very much, like, I am quite a junkie about tea. So I drink a lot of tea. But very often, I have given up tea for a year, given up tea, I'm not taking milk in the tea, or doing some such thing which improves your willpower. So there is something called a will quotient. That means how does your sankalpa shakti get enhanced when you give up something that is very dear to you for maybe a period of time, and you have assessed yourself that you can live quite happily without it. You will then be able to develop that sankalpa shakti. And it also reminds us that the object itself is not the cause of the pleasure or happiness, and that what are we doing? Are we doing it selflessly for others? So it becomes a little reminder. Like, when there are green chilies put in the vegetables, I used to love to take the green chili, squash it with the vegetable and enjoy eating it. I gave that up for life. So what happens? It is beneficial to my bowel. And it is also reminding me, how am I working? Am I working in the right manner? We tend to forget because of habit patterns and because of the fact that we are born with ignorance. So we forget that we are not this body, we are not this mind, and we keep on trying to comfort it and to cajole it and get the best for the body and the mind, of course. So we have to use these ways in which we can build up our will quotient. And secondly, we use it as a reminder, like you might use on the phone. So now we'll go to shloka number 7. And then today we will close at this shloka number 7. So, yaste yahatu indriyani manasa niyamya rabhaterjuna karmendriyahi karma yogam asaktaha sa vishishyate. So, on the other hand, he who controlling the organs of sense and action by the power of his will. Now you see how important the sankalpa shakti is, and remaining unattached, undertakes the yoga of selfless action through those organs, Arjuna, he excels. Savishishyate, he is the one who is excellent. So Sri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna the method of action, not coveting the outcome, doing the action for the sake of the well-being of all, and then it leads also to success in your sadhana. Now, what are the different types of actions that we undertake? So there are, according to the Purva Mimamsa, there are 4 different types of actions that we undertake. First is the Nitya Karma. That is the Pancha Maha Yajnas that every householder is supposed to do. What are they? Brahma Yajna, that is the study and teaching of the scriptures, what we are doing now. Deva Yajna, that is worship and doing your Sandhya regularly. Pitru Yajna, that is the sacrifice for the ancestors. Nri Yajna, that is the Atiti Devo Bhava. So you treat your guests properly. And Bhuta Yajna, that is for all the 5 elements, including the animals and small creatures. So these are Nitya obligatory karmas which you do. The second is the Naimittika karma, that means for some nimitta. What is the nimitta? Like Namakaran, like Shraddha, like these rituals, marriage, all these rituals that you do, they come under this Naimittika karma. Then Kamya. Kamya karma is that which you do for what you desire. That is your personal advantage. You go and select a particular car, not only because you need it, but because you desire that particular car. So that is considered Kamya karma. And finally, Nishiddha karma, that which is forbidden. So that karma which is forbidden, these are the classifications of the karma. I think forbidden karma, we don't need to be told. Any unethical or criminal act is considered forbidden. And what Swami Ram says is that action totally, the Nitya karma, he has added brushing and going and, these daily activities that we have to do, food and all of those actions, he has classified as something that you just have to do. Second action is he has classified the relationships that you do and share with others. And the third action he has said for self-realization. But for all of these actions, I mean, there's I was just thinking, it's very amusing to think that I have to not expect the fruit of having brushed my teeth. So don't go berserk. I'm not brushing my teeth for getting them clean, but the outcome, I'm not interested in the outcome. See, let's use our intellect and be more natural and understand what, rather than the letter, the spirit of what is being taught to us. So the message of the Bhagavad Gita is not to shirk one's duty and to do it skillfully with full attention while not craving for the fruit of action. This can be achieved. It is not impractical if we bear in mind the good of all and not only of our own self. But the good of all, remember, always includes you. So do not exclude yourself from that good of all. And if it's beneficial to all, then you do the action enthusiastically. So today we are going to stop here because I think there's enough to chew, and all the different key points I'll just like to summarize. And the first being that dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. What are you where is your mind? What is your mind dwelling on? So contemplate that, number one. Number two, that jnana and karma cannot be divorced. All the yogas are actually married. You cannot do one yoga without the other, basically. So don't be a hypocrite and say that, don't talk about jnana and all that to me. Yaar, I am a karma yogi. First of all, if you're not using your intellect, you're not even doing karma yoga properly. And secondly, you can't give up action and run away to the Himalayas saying that, oh, my focus is to self-realize. Arey bapre, I have become so old, I have to leave everything and go. Now suddenly at 60, you take sannyas, which is what I wanted to do. I'm telling you all this from experience. And as it turned out, I had met this is just off track, but doesn't matter. It helps to release the pressure of, "Oh, I have to study the Bhagavad Gita." No. Just be playful and happy. So the story goes that I met my cousin, very much older cousin sister's husband, who is an astrologer. And I told him, I'm nearing 60, and please, will I be... So he took my horoscope, and he said, there's no chance of you taking sannyas. It is Shukra Dasha now for the next 20 years. And I said, oh, what does he know? I am going to take sannyas. And I went to the ashram to Swami Veda for my 60th birthday and all of that. And of course, obviously, you can see that it didn't happen. So it is not about renouncing the world and running away from it that's going to get you self-realization. What is going to get self-realization is not in your hands, because you are not the doer of the action in the first place. So however hard you try, and whatever you may do it with this knowledge of karma yoga and jnana yoga. That is all that you can do. That is the sadhana that is in your possible for you. After that, the outcome, we have said, we have given up the outcome. So we have karma phala tyag kar diya hai. तो उस साधना का भी कर्म फल त्याग करना पड़ेगा, तब फिर जाके कहीं हमारे पे कृपा हो सकती है। और हुई तो हुई, नहीं हुई तो नहीं, हम फिर आ जाएंगे, फिर करेंगे, जो भी है सो लिखा हुआ है. So that is what I want to say today. I think that's enough to. So that's the third thing that you cannot renounce. Second thing that you cannot renounce and escape from action. And the third thing is that the action that you do, there are these four different types of actions that are done. And those actions, we have now understood. What are those different actions? Let's do it. See, I used to find it very funny, because I'm a Parsi, please forgive me. And I got married into this South Indian Tamil Iyer Brahmin culture, of which I knew nothing. And this, my husband and my mother-in-law, they were wanting to put rice for the crows, and these ancestors come and have it. And oh, I thought, what is this? What is this? I mean, I couldn't gel with any of that. But now that I have read the different types of yajna, I feel, I don't know, about the ancestors and all is a belief system. It's your faith, very good habit, do it. But you are feeding a crow. You are feeding a little animal, a bird. So that certainly appeals to my heart. That whether you give a little milk to a stray cat, or you give rice to the crow, or you feed the stray dog with a chapati, it is a yajna, that bhuta yajna, which you should be doing. And if you do it without expecting any reward from it, that I will go to Swarga, or the Pitrus are going to be happy, and therefore my life is going to be good. Hello. That is where I disagree. And that is not what is that is exactly what Sri Krishna will keep on telling us afterwards. That without expecting the reward thereof, if you are going to do your karmas, then you are doing karma yoga. That means the pathway that will join you to the divine and your union to the divine. So with that, I think we will close. Any questions, any comments? We have 5 minutes.
Yeah, if you all can unmute yourselves now, if you need to ask anything.
Who has unmuted? Prema? Anu? Yeah. Yes, Anu.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's quite clear type of karmas and doing the karma selflessly with love. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Prema was trying to unmute, I think. All right. If not, then we shall just close. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. I want to thank you all for having come on Wednesday and being so good. I hate to miss a class, so thank you for coming. I forgot to say that. So, Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti 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 Tanme Manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu Tanme Manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu Tanme Manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste and thank you. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shirin.